The Dynasty Madden League grind in 365.
Welcome into the DML Network and the newest show of the franchise. It's the bye week with your boy XPERT. We're going to sit down with a couple users on their bye week, find out how they feel about Madden 18, their team, maybe a couple of opponents, and we'll just keep it real for you. So the first team we got on the docket today is none other than the undefeated Dallas Cowboys. It's the homie Hot Tub. What's going on, my guy?
Not much. How you doing?
Man, so good. Appreciate you pulling yourself away from the president to be with us on the bye week on the first episode. So you're 9-0 going into the bye this year, Hot Tub. You're picking right up where you left off last season. I know you came off a bad beat in the Super Bowl, felt you should have got that ring. How do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys right now in year 2 of Madden 18?
I think we're doing good because we're playing very balanced this year. Rather than last year, we're trying to force it and get a feel for the game because I really didn't play outside of just the CFM mode. But other than that, I like it. Doing good.
Okay, so you're 9-0, and you put up a couple big numbers this year. And let's just talk about some of those games you had. You had the Falcons in week 1. And you know the homie Farquaad loves to talk, but you hung 70 on him. Was that on purpose, or was that just the way the game played out? Because it felt like you went for a couple extra touchdowns that maybe you could have held back on.
Gotta get all the XP, you know?
So it's just straight XP, nothing
Straight
personal.
XP. But nothing personal. I mean, my offense, we rushed for 240, and passing, we went 274. And also with the turnovers, he turned the ball over 7 times, so I didn't have to go far to score. So,
yeah, it was ugly. All right, you got the number 1 offense in the Dynasty. You got a top 5 defense. What is helping you be so balanced right now in Madden 18, where we got a lot of guys saying, you know, we can't play this game. There's no way to be balanced. How are you being so balanced on both sides of the ball?
It's got to start with the quarterback. Prescott's been very accurate. He's only thrown, I think, 7 interceptions this season compared to last season. He threw over 20. I mean, we're spreading the ball out. We're not just force-feeding Des Bryant. We got a rookie in there, Simpkins, now. I think he's leading the lead in receiving yards, so he's playing very well. And Rico Gathers has stepped up.
Some big tight ends you got in Rico Gathers.
Yeah, he's big. Lord. And then even on defense, I mean, everything starts with Jalen Smith. Wherever he is, he's making plays. Even Sean Lee's doing something. Brian Jones is making interceptions here and there. And then you even got Anthony Brown, who's a shutdown corner.
No doubt. All right, so I got to ask you, when you had the number 1 pick, was there any debate on what team you were going to pick going into this Madden 18 cycle? Or because you're such a diehard Cowboy fan like your boy XPERT, was it just locked down automatically? I'm picking the Cowboys no matter what?
It was no matter what. I'm picking the Cowboys. But if I had to pick another team just for fun, I would have probably went with the Jaguars.
Yeah, they got a good squad. They definitely got a good squad. Okay, so let's talk about a couple guys in the division that make a lot of noise. One backs it up, another one just makes a lot of noise. But so let's start with the homie H Speed. Do you get up for those games against the Redskins because he's so vocal about beating you?
No.
I mean, it doesn't even get you amped up a little bit, Hot Tub.
Not at all. I mean, he beat me once out of 15 times or something, so there's nothing to worry about, really.
So just another game. So then I'm kind of afraid to ask you this question. So what do you feel about King Flair calling out Kiddie Pool every time you look in the chat? Because I know, Hot Tub, I know you be in the chat. You know, you be lurking in the shadows because that's what y'all Secret Service people do. So when you see King Flair typing and he puts something out there on Kiddie Pool, what does that make you feel like?
He's just irrelevant, really. I mean, what has he done in this league and anything, really?
Okay, so do you feel like he should get to a point where he just quits talking, or do you enjoy that he runs his mouth and then you put the beat down on him?
I almost think that the next game we play, if he beats me, I'll leave the league. If I beat him, he leaves the league, you know?
Wow. Throwing the challenge out there. I don't think King Flair's going to take that challenge. You hung 70 on him in the first game, and you could have put up more points than that. I felt like you left a couple touchdowns on the board. So, King Flair, you heard it here on the bye week. The game versus the Cowboys, he wants to know, will you put your dynasty life on the line? Now, Hot Tub, I got 2 more questions for you. First question, you got the Houston Texans coming up here in a couple weeks. What do you feel about that guy, XPERT, down there in Houston? The little Texas Bowl about to happen.
I mean, I haven't looked at any of the stats or anything from your team, but I got to believe that J.J. Watt and Clowney's doing some work. And you also got your quarterback, Watson. He's probably doing some work. But I remember last year it was all about running and all that. So, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, you kind of luck out because J.J. Watt hurt his back last week. So, he's going to be out for this game. But I can't wait to play in the Texas Bowl. You know how much I love the Cowboys. I know you're a diehard Cowboy fan, so we got a lot in common there. All right, Hot Tub. Last question on the first episode of the bye week for you. What are the expectations for the Dallas Cowboys going forward?
Super Bowl.
That's it. If it's not if it's not a banner hanging up, it's a wasted season for you, right?
Exactly. Every season's like that for me.
Okay, so if the Super Bowl is Super Bowl or bust here, what is in the way of Hot Tub putting that banner up in the ceiling?
My own mistakes, not reading the defense, and I think that's about it.
You heard it here, folks. Hot Tub said the only thing that stops him hanging the banner is Hot Tub himself. Be on the lookout. Got a tough schedule coming up. Got one against the Redskins, and you got those Texans. Then you have the Gauntlet Bowl versus the Giants. We'll see how King Flair responds. Hot Tub, man, I always appreciate you jumping on the show. I know you got a busy schedule, taking time out to jump on the show on the DML Network. Hot Tub, you my first guest on the bye week. Man, good luck the rest of the year. We'll catch up at the end of the year. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that is Hot Tub and the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 9-0 in his bye week. But we got one more team we need to bring in here and talk to. And this is my brother, and he's been my brother since he came in this league. It's none other than Addy 5, and he has those Cincinnati Bengals. Addy, what's going on, my guy?
XPERT, what's going on, man?
Man, it's a great day. You're at your bye week. You're sitting at 6-3 with the Bengals. I know you've been a little frustrated, a little up and down here. How you feeling about the Bengals sitting at 6-3 going into your bye week?
I mean, I think I'm in good position to win the division. For me, what's frustrating is having to play a whole season just to get to the playoffs, even though I looked a little shaky in the beginning. But I think we're in good position. We're where we want to be. We had a little losing streak, 3-game losing streak, but I figured some things out. I was forcing the ball. I mean, that's usually when I get myself in trouble. I was forcing the ball to slow poke, trying to get XP, and that didn't work out quite well for me. So
yeah, it was it was a rough little
out.
schedule there, Addy. You started with really two good games. I mean, you played Mo Booker week 1, so you had 5 preseason games. But then you have a convincing win versus the Browns. And then you kind of go on a little stretch there where you lose 4 straight or you lose 3 straight.
Yeah.
You know, you lose to tight work, you lose to darkness, and then you lose to Matty Ice. And the Matty Ice game really was surprising to me because it didn't look like the Addy 5 that I'm used to. So is it just bad reads in those 3 games? Because you had a chance to win versus tight work, which was a really good game, but then you kind of came out and laid 2 eggs in those next 2 games, man.
I would say that sometimes, even though we got to show numbers never lie, sometimes just looking at the numbers doesn't tell the whole story.
Okay.
In that game with tight work's the only game I would say I thought I lost myself. A lot of bad reads, a lot of picks that went for scores. Also, that was a rain game. And in that game, I missed 3 field goals.
Wow.
And 3 field goals. I end up losing by like 5 or something like that. And it'd be a totally different game. In Darkness's game, that game actually reconnected. It was third quarter, end of the third. I'm up 17-0. And that we had to restart that game. I end up losing that game. Matty Ice game, if you go back and watch that, it was a lot of lag both ways. We both talked about it. I mean, he played well, but like it was a play. I think I'm down 12 or 5 driving, and the quarterback just doesn't throw. I'm stuck in the pocket. I'm mashing buttons, nothing. Then he gets a pick six. So I mean, without looking at the games, it might look a kind of way, but I think we're doing all right.
And then you right the ship after the Matty Ice game, and you had a pretty tough schedule after Matty Ice. You have a home game versus Dat Boy Good, which is never an easy game. And you got the new Steelers owner in the OG, Chris Murray. Never an easy game with the OG. And then you win the second game against the Browns. Kind of put a lockdown on the division at that point with the 16-14 win. And then going right before the bye week, you beat the Panthers 28-14. Is this the real Cincinnati Bengals? I know you like to talk in the chat about you're not that good. There's easy ways to stop you. But is this the real Cincinnati Bengals, this 4-game win streak we've seen you on?
I think that for me, again, like you had Hot Tub on the show and he talked about turnovers. I think for me, if I can not turn the ball over, usually I'm all right, because most times I get myself in trouble is because I turned it over and I'm giving up the ball in field position. And anyone that's played me knows that, and that's why, again, I see that I'm scoring a lot of points, but for me, I hang my head on defense. So most times in high-scoring games, I usually get in trouble because I'm forcing the ball. I usually like to, control the pace, run the rock. I'll run the West Coast style. So when the game does get out of hand and now I have to pass a lot, that's usually when I find myself in trouble.
Right. And you have a pretty potent offense. You're sitting at 7th in total offense. But one thing I know you want to get better at is on that defensive side of the ball. Sitting right now at 13th overall in the Dynasty. What needs to change on the defensive side of the ball for you to maybe crack that top 10 by the end of the year?
Well, see, the thing is, in total defense, although for a lot of people it means a lot to them, to me, total yard defense doesn't mean much to me. I think that in my struggle, when I was looking at my numbers, the biggest thing for me was that usually I'm top 10 in points allowed. And that's really all that matters to me, because at times you'll give up big yards because the way it's set up, you might miss a tackle and the guy goes to the house and you were clamping him the whole game. Now the yards look a little fixed, but if you can give those yards up, essentially bend but not break, where he's not scoring or he's getting field goals, then essentially you're doing what you need to do. And usually I'm like top 5 in scoring. But when I was on my losing streak, I checked the numbers and I was like number 22 in scoring. So I think that told a lot of, the issue that was in hand. But,
Okay, so you're sitting tied in first place. Basically, you have a points lead over the Steelers. Both of y'all sitting at 6-3. What does Addy 5 need to do to make sure this division stays in Cincinnati?
Just take care of business. I know what I hang my head on. I know what I just got to stick to the game plan, to be honest with you. It's really all it is. Just sticking to the game plan. Not deferring, even when games get tough. Run the ball, get stops, make it a game of possession, and I'll be all right.
All right. So sitting right now at your bye week, you got the number 1 quarterback in the NFL in Andy Dalton. And he's had some games where he's thrown a couple picks here and there. And you're sitting right now, let me see, look at you, sitting at 14 touchdowns, but you got 20 interceptions. So I had to bring this up. So is the 40 interception threshold something you got to start thinking about in case we put that rule into effect in the Dynasty? Especially how you like to throw the ball, Addy.
I definitely like to throw the ball. But I think the thing for that is a lot of times, for whatever reason, whether it be lag, whether it be just me pressing the issue, I have a monster in the backfield by the name of Joe Mixon. And there are times where I underuse him. You'll see we'll have 11 carries in the game, sometimes even 8, where I'm passing a little too much. But if I stay balanced, those pick numbers will go down. Also, a lot of the bad reads. To be quite honest with you, the rookie I was trying to get him XP, I would say like the first 4 weeks of the season, he had like 6 passing touchdowns. And from then on, I was forcing the ball in the red zone where I should be running it. Just bad offense overall. And now it's a little more balanced, so we'll be all right.
Okay, so you talked about Joe Mixon. He's been healthy all year basically for you. But you just talked about that. You've had some games where you've given him the ball 7 times, 4 times, 11 times really his average. But then you have that game when you came in game 1. Now, of course, it's versus Mo Booker. Shout out to the OG Mo Booker. Love the dude. But you handed the ball to him 22 times versus that Kansas City defense, and he just runs wild over him. Is that something where you got to just kind of calm yourself down, being Addy 5, where your reputation is throw, and you got to kind of turn around and hand the ball off sometimes, even when it's not successful for you?
I mean, I guess, but for me, the issue sometimes arises with, a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, I am looking for XP for a certain player. I think game 1 of the season, I told myself, all right, I'm going to try to get Mixon MVP of the league. And that's why he got that many carries, because I just kept giving him the ball. But although he's played most of the season, it's a few games, I would say maybe 3 or so, where he didn't finish, where he had like a turf toe or something like that. And knowing that I lost him last year in the season,
right,
a small part of me was kind of scared to overuse him. And I used Bernard in stretches as well. Because if you saw that first half of the season, it probably took Mixon, I would say 5 games before he even got a touchdown. But at that point, Bernard had already scored. So a little bit of nerves for me, because I don't want to lose my guy again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
all right. Last question, Addy. You got 7 games left. What is the outcome for the Cincinnati Bengals this year? What is your ultimate goal as Addy 5? I know you're gonna say Super Bowl, but what truly is the ultimate goal in Cincinnati?
I mean, for me, I think you guys know that I'm an ultimate competitor, and I expect to win every game I play. Some people say that, and it's just something they say, but I truly expect to win every game I play. And yeah, for me, it's Super Bowl. I've made the playoffs every season I've been here. I mean, this one was kind of stretched. At one point, I'll be honest with you, I was in a bad funk, and I truly didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I expect to put myself in position to win. I expect to be in the playoffs. I expect to win. I mean, for me, the hardest thing is not having won anything yet. You know what I mean?
I feel, hey man, I'm in the same boat. I feel you. I just want to hang a banner. Now, it may not be a good thing for the Dynasty when I hang a banner, because I'm going to remind people every day that I got a banner in the ceiling. It may not be a good thing, but I'm with you, Addy. All right. Man, Addy, I appreciate you jumping on. Cincinnati Bengals sitting at 6-3. Good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we get to see you in the playoffs with those Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe those Houston Texans will be in a championship game with you. And you know we got none but love for Addy 5, man. We appreciate you jumping on the bye week here.
For sure. Appreciate you.
All righty. All right, guys. This has been the first episode of the bye week. You are tuned in to the DML Network. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, follow us for all the latest content. It's your boy XPERT, and I'm out.